and all of a sudden, Hauser's trying to mount a charge, but this time Ingebrigtsen holds on, wins a world title over 1,500 metres. Now then, to one of the races of the weekend, the final of the men's 1,500 metres. This could be an absolutely brilliant race. Isaac Nada, bronze in Apeldoorn a couple of weeks ago. He's a European under-23 bronze medalist. Fourth in this final last year. Adrian Ben came through as a non-automatic qualifier. He's a 1:43.9 800-metre runner. Rafael Palic ran brilliantly to qualify here. Set a PB earlier this year, 3:55 for the mile, quarter-finalist in the Olympics. Mariano Garcia, world indoor champion over the 800 metres, stepping up really nicely. Pilstrom, world indoor tour winner. Only just enough room alongside Neil Gourley, bitterly disappointed to fall ill ahead of the world indoors in his home city of Glasgow last year. He'll hope to go well. Samuel Prekel, national indoor champion a couple of years ago over the 15 and the 3,000. And now to the main man. Is he about to replicate what only Haile Gebrselassie has done? The 3,000, 1,500 double. Bidding for his 6th global gold on the trap. And Luke Hauser on the inside, twice an NCAA 1 mile champion in 2023 and 2024. Ingebrigtsen has won World Junior silver medals, World Indoor silver medal, that was back in 22 behind Tefera, and World Outdoor silver twice. He's never won a global gold at this 1,500 distance in the Worlds. He's done the Olympics, but not the Worlds. And Ingebrigtsen, not all the way to the back, but he's alongside Neil Gourley. And Neil Gourley bidding for Great Britain's first medal since David Strang in 1993. But all eyes will be on Ingebrigtsen, third from the back here, although it's Prekel who's making an honest pace of this, and Ingebrigtsen needs to pay attention. Hannah, the question to you, World Championship silver medalist over the 1,500 metres, how tired will Ingebrigtsen be after running a qualifier to get through to the 15 final and a brutal 3,000 showdown against Aragawi yesterday?
He prides himself on his fitness, Ingebrigtsen, and the way he's taken those global 5K titles after disappointment in the 1,500. It shows he's always got that endurance to draw on. So I think he should be okay. And there's a school of thought to say make it fast, because if he is at all tired, that makes him vulnerable. But when you look at this field, you look at the likes of Mariano Garcia, Adrian Ben, they've got a ferocious kick. Isaac Nada has as well. I think Ingebrigtsen will need this race to keep moving. He's not got the explosive change of pace of some of these athletes, and I was incredibly impressed with Luke Hauser in qualifying on Friday. His change of pace was something I was really surprised by and really impressed by. A touch of the Kenny Brooks, if you remember him from the steeplechase at the Olympic Games. So I don't think Ingebrigtsen can leave this for a quick finish. He's going to have to do a wind-up. He's starting to get involved, but it's going to have to be, for me, 3 laps out at least for the Norwegian.
Well, a little bit of shoving going on there. Ingebrigtsen now goes to the front, coming round with 800 metres to go. Gourley sensing the danger. And once again, he's got a Briton on his shoulder, as he had with Whiteman coming past him in Eugene, and then Kerr in Budapest. Nada's trying to find a gap on the inside, but it isn't there. Garcia, the former world indoor champion over 800 metres. And Garcia has set a national record over 1,000 metres and improved his 1,500 PB in January. He's no longer just the 800-metre specialist, and he's got rockets come the last 100 metres if he's in with a sniff of a medal. Gourley just has a little shove there with Palic, who now moves up onto the shoulder of Ingebrigtsen. Good running here by the Austrian, and there's a little exchange there, and Palic ends up losing ground with Gourley now in second, Nada in third, Palic in fourth, and Hauser fifth. They're starting to queue up behind Ingebrigtsen. There's a big charge coming. The question is from whom?
My money is still on Luke Hauser if he can find a change of pace. The top three at the moment, Nada has never got past Ingebrigtsen. Neil Gourley hasn't, of course, the two other Scots have. But Ingebrigtsen, he's in full flight now. There's only 300 metres to go for the Norwegian.
Ingebrigtsen is desperate for a world title over 1,500 metres. Silver's indoors, Silver's as a junior, and Silver's outdoors. He's won the Olympic crown, but this would mean a lot to him. Going for history here. No man this century has done the 1,500, 3,000 double. And look at Hauser on the outside. And Gourley on the inside. Nada's getting squashed here. The American isn't beaten. Ingebrigtsen's got to dig deep. And all of a sudden, Hauser's trying to mount a charge. But this time, Ingebrigtsen holds on. Silver for Gourley, bronze for Hauser. Jakob Ingebrigtsen at last wins a world title over 1,500 metres. He steps out of the shadow of Haile Gebrselassie. He's matched his great achievement from Japan in 1999. There's the motorbike, but the gas this time belonged to Ingebrigtsen. Gourley replicates Streng's silver medal from 1993 and makes up for the huge disappointment of not being able to take part in Glasgow last year. And Hauser came round and looked at one stage as though he was going to strike for gold. He'll be delighted with his place on the podium. This time, Ingebrigtsen's will, nerve and speed held good. He did the 3,000 in an epic final yesterday, and he'll be absolutely over the moon to at last be able to call himself a world champion over 1,500 metres. And what a way to start thinking about his outdoor season this summer. Wow.
Wonderful to see that moment between Jakob Ingebrigtsen and Sander Skotheim as well. I'd love to, I'm going to go back and look at the splits there for that last 800. You know, I said he's got to go from the last 600, and it was almost like we were reading from the same script book. He got himself in position with 800 metres to go, and then it was that imperceptible lift of pace that he does when he's on the outdoor track, and it was effective here as well. They were right there. If he put a foot wrong at all, if he mispaced it, if he was vulnerable in the last 50, I think Neil Gourley, who fought for the inside line, he was trying to save himself energy, the Brit, he would be there to pick up the pieces. And Luke Hauser, he couldn't quite replicate that sensational last lap from the heats. Of course, they got going earlier on. But I think he's a really deserving bronze medalist here, Luke Hauser, with the form he's brought to Nanjing.
Three great medalists will share the podium. And how much do you think it will mean to Ingebrigtsen that after so many world silvers over 15, he's a champion?
And he set himself a challenge this weekend of doing both. He didn't have to do that. He could have just come in the 3,000 or the 15, and you know that didn't excite him enough. And he's spoken very eloquently. You cited it yesterday about this duty he feels, you know, for the time commitment that his brothers have put into this sport, and the fact that he's building on the back of their experiences and their hard work, and they're now supporting him. He feels this duty to find his absolute limits. Whether that's how many medals can he accumulate, how many records. He loves to talk about getting all the world records, all the way up to the marathon, to see what he's capable of. But I'm enjoying the side we've seen to Jakob Ingebrigtsen in the last 10 or 12 months as well. His social media is a lot more casual. He's very happy to be silly on it, to show different emotions. And he's coming into his own, I think, Jakob Ingebrigtsen. And that confidence, he's always had confidence, and it never seemed to weigh on him. And to be honest, I'm delighted to see him walk away with 2 gold medals this weekend.
Well, he's one of the stars of our sport, and we need him to shine come the summer, and what a platform. Jakob Ingebrigtsen at last has a world title over 1,500 metres. He does indeed do the double with the 3 as well. Gourley the silver, Hauser with the bronze for the United States.